Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Morgan. If you're new here, welcome. So you clicked on this video because you know that I am going to be reviewing for the very first time the Hint Skin Tint Morphe 2 foundation. Let's talk about what the extremely wonderful claims are. So it lasts up to 16 hours, water resistant and sweat resistant and transfer resistant. Holy guacamole. Okay. Seals in moisture and nourishes dry skin. Oh, I didn't know that. Non-Comedogenic and Vegan. Not very hard to do either of those. It says how to apply. Shake gently. Start with 1 to 2 drops and build to your desired level of coverage. Apply using a synthetic brush, sponge, or fingertips. So I think what I'm gonna do is do half sponge, half brush. Let's do it. Okay, so I always like to start off by showing you guys what I do for skincare. So I'm gonna start off with my Plus Minus Rose Hip Seed Oil. And then I'm also gonna follow it up with a Plus Minus Rose and Shine Light Day Moisturizer. So now that I have hydrated my skin, let's go ahead and get this bad boy out. So the color I got was Hint of Marshmallow. So I'm gonna do like it says and do 2 drops and we'll build it up to our desired coverage. Now, my favorite synthetic brush at the moment is the Hourglass dual-ended. I think it's like the ambient lighting brush. Fantastic brush, not meant for foundation, but I like it. So let's go in. Very light smell, so if you have any issues with that. Color is fantastic, so thank you, wonderful Ulta employee, for picking this out. Oh, you guys, look at that. Y'all see the difference? I'm here for it. Now that we've got the brush side pretty much on, let's go ahead and see what the sponge does. Okay, so I'm gonna put more on my hand, beep bop boop, and I'm gonna pick it up, and I'm using a Morphe sponge for this one. And I'm actually using this dry. I've actually found that I prefer using a dry sponge if I'm gonna use it. I know, it's weird, but I've liked it more. It's kind of like hitting yourself with a brick, but it is what it is. I might end up liking a brush better. I have liked brushes more lately, but this is definitely like a skin tint. Like it looks like my skin has just been tinted just the right amount to look nice and fresh. I am having to use a lot more than I would with the brush, I am noticing. So with this, because it's such a thin formula, you may end up liking the brush more because it doesn't soak up so much product. Because this formula is, like I said, super thin. So keep that in mind. So what I'm noticing is you don't see really any texture on my nose. It also looks funny because I'm not taking it all the way up under my eyes. So now I like to test to see how the foundation interacts with the stuff that I like. So concealers, powders, blushes, I kind of want to see how it plays with each other to see if it's something that is going to be long-term, something I'm going to wear. I'm going to take my current favorite concealer, the Kosas 2.5, and place it everywhere that I normally do. So now that I have the concealer placed everywhere, I am then going to take the same brush and begin blending this out. Don't see any separation or anything weird happening between the two. And honestly, I didn't really think that they would have any issues because Kosas is in the same vein where they actually have a oil tint. So this concealer is meant to jive well with something that is more hydrating. So, okay, so now that we're blended and looking super even, I want to then try 2 different types of powders. I'm gonna take the Hourglass Translucent Powder, which is my favorite loose setting powder, and then I'm gonna take my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and this is in the color Medium, and I'm gonna do it on either side of my face, just to see how each react. Spank the baby, spank the baby. We're running low. Oh, and I just got it all over me. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna do this side with kind of a baking method, if you will. So I'm gonna take, again, this same brush. I need multiples of these, they're so good. Anyway, and I'm gonna go in and kind of stamp in the areas that I know I don't want to move. Now let's try the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. And this is what she looks like here. Same brush, I've wiped her off so there's no translucent powder on it, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Pick it up and stamp it everywhere. And what I like too that I'm noticing with both powders is that the skin-like finish is still there. So that's really, really nice. Next, I want to try bronzer. I want to see how this layers up well with powders. I'm going to take my Kosas bronzer, grab an angled brush, and this one's just a Laura Mercier one. And I'm going to go in and stamp this in. Now, I know for a fact that if I went in and just started swiping, I would probably disrupt. I never really swipe my bronzers if I can help it, because I know that any swiping is going to disrupt what I've laid down underneath the bronzer. So next, let's try out a blush. And one of my faves right now is the Ornate Blush from Hank & Henry. And I'm going to take just a loose, fluffy brush that's from a Tarte thing and pop her on. And I don't see any screaming texture thus far. This would be now, I guess, my third powder that I'm layering over top of this foundation. I'm gonna take a Morphe M501. I absolutely love this brush for highlight. So I'm gonna take it on the nose. And yet again, this foundation loves the highlight. All right, so now that I looked like a glazed donut, I actually want to wear this throughout the day and give you guys kind of an update, because I always feel like reviews aren't quite enough just to be like, okay, it was cool and it was good, bye. So it is currently 1:19 and I plan on wearing this look throughout a couple looks today. So today is a filming day. So I'm gonna check back in a few hours and let you guys know. But my initial feelings about this foundation is it's fantastic. I really don't know why I held out on trying this foundation. Plus it's only $17. So anyway, I'm gonna check back in and see if that opinion that it is good stays the same. We'll see. And I'll also be able to kind of gauge how it looks in photographs too. So thus far, I don't see any settling. It's playing well with powders, so I'll check back in a few. All right, guys, so I just finished this look, and let me grab my phone just to show you. It is 4:01, if you can see that. Fuckies, there we go. Yeah, so this is after lunch. This is after a cup of coffee. This is after doing a full look. And yeah, I mean, I'm very pleased. Let me zoom you in a little bit. I had some breaking out happening right in here, but I mean, it doesn't scream, oh my goodness, texture. So yeah, I think it looks really good. And again, it's like, it's a hydrating foundation and it's super thin, but it's not showing anything. Sometimes it can really show texture if you're not careful, especially because your skin tends to absorb the water or whatever is making it super thin, and then you're just left with pigment. And I can say that it is very, very dry skin friendly thus far. So anywho, and yeah, if you're interested in where this look is being posted, go check out my Instagram. I'll put it here. Another plug. Love me, please. But yeah, so I will check back in a few hours later, okay? So it is now 5:37, so it's been probably an hour and a half to 2 hours since I talked to you last, checked in. My skin absolutely loves this foundation. It photographs beautifully. I've done a couple things, TikToks and Reels and Instagram story tutorials today with this foundation on, and I love it. The one thing I've noticed is that the side that I did the compact on needed to be reset versus the side that I did translucent powder on did not. So I highly recommend, if you're someone that's going to be wearing this not just for, you know, a couple hours and take it off, especially throughout the day, I highly recommend you setting it with a translucent powder. And I think you could even get away with doing the Laura Mercier powder. And if you find that you're a little dry, just setting it with or spraying a setting spray just to kind of melt everything together. Let me go ahead and head into my final thoughts. So for my final thoughts, I 100% without a doubt think that the Morphe 2 foundation is not only Morgan approved, but dry skin approved. Just in general, I think that any dry skin person would absolutely love this foundation because it doesn't show my texture on my nose. It doesn't show any texture on my hairline sometimes when I get dry there. Just make sure you're going and setting it properly like we talked about. And I do recommend a synthetic brush over a sponge, and $17. You can't beat that. And they did come out with 20 shades, so you know, that's in the middle range of being a good shade range. I think that this foundation is fantastic, and if you want to see me play with it more, because I think it is now going to be up there and it's one of my top favorites, head on over to Instagram, follow me there, because I do a ton of tutorials and just playing with makeup a lot there, because it's a little bit easier than editing a YouTube video. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're happy, safe, and well, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.